Hello and welcome back to Sharpe's Canon. I'm your host, Captain Rutledge. When we last left Sharpe and Harper, they fought their final battle in Spain and put a stop to the vile Major Pierre Ducos. As Napoleon went into exile, they both went their own ways. Harper to Ireland, Sharpe to Normandy, and his new love, Lucille. Now, Napoleon has returned from his exile, and the nations of Europe go back in arms against him. The location? Flanders. The town? Waterloo.
In March 1815, the Allied nations of the United Kingdom, Prussia, Austria, Russia, Spain, and Portugal formed the Seventh Coalition against Napoleon and planted themselves around France's border to keep Napoleon in check. In June that year, Napoleon made his plan of attack, going into the Anglo-Prussian lines in Flanders. The 68,000 British, Dutch, and German forces were under the command of the Duke of Wellington, and the 50,000 Allied Prussians commanded by Prince Gebhard von Blücher, standing against Napoleon and Marshal Ney's 72,000 French.
I could go into further detail, but many other YouTubers can explain battle better than I can. You can watch them, wherever that little pop-up is supposed to appear. Anyway, the outcome of the battle is thus. The Prussians and Allies were able to force a French retreat, and Napoleon returned to Paris, abdicating for the second and final time on June 24, 1815. That July, he surrendered to the Royal Navy and was exiled to St. Helena. Louis XVIII returned to the throne, and there was relative peace in Europe for the next 50 years.
The novel, Sharpe's Waterloo, was first published in 1990, the 11th Sharpe series novel written by Bernard Cornwell. The novel's storyline involves Richard Sharpe returning to active service during the Waterloo campaign, reuniting with old friends while keeping his cool against the ignorance of his superiors. The TV episode premiered in 1997 as the final episode of the Sharpe TV series, written by Charles Wood and directed by Tom Clegg. The usual cast returned, along with Abigail Crittenden as Jane, Hugh Fraser as Wellington, Alexis Denisof as Lord Rossendale, and Cecile Paoli as Lucille. Guest stars include Oliver Tobias as Rebecca, Neil Dixon as Lord Uxbridge, and Martin Glynn Murray as Doggett, along with Nicholas Irons replacing Scott Cleverdon as Harry Price, and Paul Bettany making one of his first TV appearances as Prince William of Orange.
It's the French! My God. Now they have guns.
Oh, they've always had guns, Your Royal Highness. What they haven't always had is you as a target.
Filming took place in Turkey during the late summer and early autumn of 1996, with a larger number of extras being brought in from across Europe and the UK to take part.
For the most part, the script keeps pretty faithful to the original novel, but let's take a closer look.
The episode adds a prologue to the story, starting with Napoleon's escape from Elba and moving to Sharpe and Lucille in Normandy, with Lucille granting Richard permission to go fight the French one last time, and he dons his old uniform to serve as Lieutenant Colonel on the Prince of Orange's staff. An additional scene involves the Dutch and English playing a game of cricket, catching up viewers on the state of affairs between Sharpe, Jane, and Lord Rossendale. Now the story picks up from the novel. Sharpe witnesses the advancing French forces crossing into Flanders while scouting south of Quatre Bras. He is spotted by French dragoons who give chase, but is saved by Dutch cavalry. He gives one of the cavalrymen a dispatch to high command. In the novel, it is received by General Dornberg, who tears it up in disbelief, while the dispatcher is killed in the TV episode.
Then we get a scene of Jane tasking Lord Rossendale with killing Sharpe in the battle. Pretty harsh, not to mention the full view of Jane's
Jugs of milk sure are getting expensive these days, sir.
Tell me, Campbell, why do you always barge in when I have to mention female mammary glands?
Because they're the only bloomin' lines you give me. Hey.
Anyhow, Sharpe returns to the Prince of Orange's headquarters. The episode includes a scene of him reuniting with Hagman and Harris, not to mention Patrick Harper, working as a gentleman horse trader.
Not you.
It is.
It is.
Damn me, you came! You came!
I did. I did come. I did.
Come on, grow up, please.
After a conversation with one of the prince's mistresses, the sound of musketry sends Sharpe off to Mons, carrying orders to strengthen the crossroads at Quatre Bras. The episode has him, Hagman, and Harris harassing French skirmishers before seeking safety with Dutch troops, while the novel has him and the Prince of Orange's friend Lieutenant Doggett meeting with Prince Karl of Eisenach to hold the crossroads. Expecting a stronger attack come morning, Sharpe rides to Wellington and the Duchess of Richmond's ball.
He should be in Dutch uniform.
At the real historical ball, a dispatch was sent from the Prussian army to the Prince of Orange by one Lieutenant Henry Webster. Later in the evening, a Prussian officer handed intelligence off to the Duke of Wellington from Ligny, forcing the Allies into action. Both of these actions are given to Sharpe in the story.
Sharpe hands off his intelligence to Wellington and the Prince of Orange, with the episode including some real quotes from Wellington that very evening.
I'm bugged, by God.
On leaving, Sharpe runs into Jane and Lord Rossendale necking on the stairs. He chases Rossendale down and forces him to fight, but is called away in the episode by Lord Uxbridge and Harry Price. In the novel, by Rossendale's friend Captain Manville and Peter Dallenboard. Before marching off, Sharpe spends a final few moments with Lucille, being given her late husband's cloak against the cold and rain. Sharpe and Harper then march off to battle. At Quatre Bras the next morning, the Prince of Orange leads his Dutch-Belgian cavalry in a charge against a French column, but the men instead turn tail and run. Wellington calls in General Picton's reinforcements, among whom is the Prince of Wales' own volunteers, led by Colonel Ford, and amongst its ranks old friends like Harry Price, Clayton, Charlie Weller, and Dan Hagman in the novel. The prince foolishly orders the troops into line formation despite protestations from Sharpe about nearby French cavalry.
I see no cavalry.
But they're there! In the dead ground, on the right!
Exactly, and this brigade is on the left, is it not? Take it!
No.
No.
That order will kill them all. I shall not take it.
The brigade suffers heavy casualties as a result, but quick thinking on the part of Sharpe and Harper saves the Prince of Wales' own.
At this point, the episode sort of merges together the days of June 16th and June 17th. The novel has Sharpe aiding in defensive positions at Mont Saint-Jean, at which point Sharpe and Harper witnessed Napoleon riding on horseback. A moment saved for the very end of the episode.
They're all saying they saw him, but I never did. Did you see Boney yesterday at Quatre Bras? No? No more did I.
After a French artillery barrage, Lord Rossendale gets separated from Uxbridge's staff and is cornered in the woods by Sharpe.
Has the horse spent my money?
Sharpe presses Rossendale for what's left of his money, being given a promissory note.
What we do where I come from? Take our faithless wives to market, bit of rope round their necks, and bid for them. Here's the rope.
Our hero, everybody.
In a scene that occurred earlier in the novel, Sharpe apologizes to the Prince of Orange in order to keep his pay.
I could not stay there another minute without a hit him. He's not with a silk stocking full of shit.
In the novel, on the morning of June 18th, Sharpe and Harper assist in the defense of Hougoumont Farm, meeting with their old commander, Major Dunnett, of the 95th Rifles, from Sharpe's Rifles, who makes amends for his past discretions with Sharpe. In the episode, Sharpe, Harper, Hagman, and Harris assist in the KGL defense of La Haye Saint Farm.
Over all the years that I've been fighting the French, I have become sick and bloody tired of that shite music that they play. I have, so I have.
Meanwhile, the French artillery wreaks havoc on the Allied lines, and then the main attack starts. In a bloody melee, Sharpe and the King's German Legion manage to hold off the first French attack. Afterwards, they witness the Prince of Orange order his men into line formation and summarily get slaughtered by French cavalry. When the Prince of Orange returns, Sharpe gives a true piece of his mind.
Will you never Will the little prick never learn?
Where are you going?
As far away from you and your royal bloody Prince of Orange pips as I can.
How dare he, the insubordinate swine! I'll have you hanged for desertion! I'll have you shot!
Meanwhile, Lord Rossendale takes part in the heavy cavalry charge against the French, and is summarily struck down and killed by French skirmishers, not knowing that Jane is carrying his child. In the novel, Lieutenant Doggett witnesses the prince lose a whole line of King's German Legion troops after ordering them in line against cavalry, and uses Harper's own words against the prince.
His Royal Highness cannot be called a coward.
No, damn it. No, not cowardice. Not that.
You, sir, are a silk stocking full of shit!
The episode, meanwhile, sees the farmhouse of La Haye Saint lost to the French, and both Harris and Hagman killed by the French attackers. Doggett then rides off to find Sharpe and share the news. In a fit of rage, Sharpe plans to take out the prince before more men needlessly die. The novel has him and Harper fighting amongst Major Dunnett's riflemen, and then he shoots the prince straight in the shoulder. Dunnett suspects their intent but says nothing. In the episode, he hides amongst a copse of trees and takes aim, and their comrade in arms, Colonel Macduff, keeps his mouth shut.
The prince was indeed wounded in battle, but I feel both storylines paint him as a complete moron. Sure, he was inexperienced, but he was nonetheless charismatic in his leadership and brave in the face of fire. Although he caused a number of his men to perish, he was still able to earn their respect, for what it's worth.
As Napoleon sends in his old guard, Sharpe, Doggett, and Harper ride to the Prince of Wales' own volunteers. They find Colonel Ford incapacitated by fear and take over the battalion. Wellington orders the Allied lines to fire into the advancing French columns and gives Sharpe official command of the Prince of Wales' own volunteers.
Don't let them stand. See them off our land. Your battalion, Mr. Sharpe. I'm beholden to you. To you all. Now go on, they won't stand.
The episode ends with Sharpe and the Prince of Wales' own advancing, as Sharpe and Harper see Napoleon retreat and march off to certain victory.
Goodbye, Colonel Sharpe.
Goodbye, Mr. Harper.
What are you entering for, lads? See the front down!
The novel gives a more definite ending. Hagman dies in Sharpe's arms after being shot by the French. Private Clayton is also killed, leaving his wife Sally a widow. Charlie Weller survives and is promoted to sergeant and protector of Sally. Dallenboard lost his leg, but Harry Price was promoted to major in his stead, along with Doggett as a captain. Captain Maxwell notified Sharpe of Rossendale's death, and that his promissory note was now worthless. Lucille and Sharpe's son Patrick Henry is in good health, and Sharpe enjoys a hard-earned cup of tea as the South Essex Band plays Over the Hills and Far Away.
Sharpe's Waterloo made a perfect ending to the TV series as a whole, as we tied up loose ends and moved forward as the Napoleonic Age came to an end. Sean Bean gave an amazing final performance as Sharpe, alongside Darragh O'Malley as the inseparable Patrick Harper. Charles Wood's script pays close attention to the book, while taking a few liberties for streamlining the story for TV, but still an amazing send-off. The book adds more real-life facets to the Battle of Waterloo, but the TV episode is nonetheless not too shabby for its work.
It's French. It's good. Though I am a bit of a cannibal, so I am.
So, that's the end of the classic Sharpe TV series. However, I won't be leaving you all right now. We will have a few loose ends to tie up with both the TV series and the novels. So stay tuned, because Sharpe and Harper still have a little more marching left in them. Good day.